Let's go. Let's do this. It is showtime. Getting amplified. Summerslam, baby. We got a live mic. Oh, we're good. Let's do this. SummerSlam Sunday. SummerSlam Night 2. An event we were told is too big for one night. Was that the case? Did they deliver? That's for you to decide. That's in the eye of the beholder. SummerSlam Saturday, Night 1 was rough to get through. It was rough for many reasons. It lacked in so many areas. It lacked in substance. It lacked in buzz. It lacked on anything to latch onto, especially for that live crowd. So by the time you got to the main event on Saturday night, which I thought was actually a good main event, a good matchup, Gunther and CM Punk, it was a nod to old school wrestling. You don't need all the flips and dives, and you don't need any 5-star classics or anybody putting stars on your match. You don't need any of that. I thought they did good, but the crowd was asleep until the very end when Gunther rose from that commentary table sporting the crimson mask. That's when the crowd finally cared about the match, stood up, whoa. And then moments later, of course, Punk hitting GTS, 1, 2, 3, Punk becomes champion. But I don't blame that crowd for being asleep for that main event because nothing beforehand made them feel like they were at SummerSlam and the thousands of dollars that they spent was well worth it. And we were feeling the same way at home or in the bar, at the friend's house or at the restaurant, wherever you were watching IMAX. You guys are telling me now the events are in. We were feeling the same way. And then, of course, moments later, Rollins comes out, and we're doing the same thing we did many years ago with the same person, with the same briefcase. Rollins ends a 5-minute title reign of Punk. So the crowd couldn't even go home digesting, hey, we got to see Punk walk away with the title. No, you got to see Seth Rollins. And who cares? Okay, the majority of us, we respect what Rollins does. We know he's a good wrestler. Maybe you even like Rollins. Maybe you love him. Maybe he's your favorite wrestler. Awesome. Jinder Mahal. I've always supported Jinder Mahal. I know that Jinder Mahal should not be winning the championship at SummerSlam on Saturday night. Just as much as I know that Rollins should not be winning a championship on Saturday night. Because this version, this character, this gimmick of Rollins... Sorry, not sorry. This is not a championship, dude. It's not. You have to work on Seth Rollins first. Then you can try to put him in all these main event matches and make him feel like a champion. Because right now it's not working. It's broken. And just putting the Goof Troop behind him without a name, mind you. They don't even have a name. The Wise Man became an Oral-B toothbrush. And that's the only name change. They don't have a name. There's no change in music. There's nothing. They added a couple dudes behind him. We think Braun Breaker is injured, by the way, ankle injury or something. Good luck just promoting Bronson Reed now. And that's what the crowd, that's your big moment on Saturday night. Rollins is going to walk away with a title. Well, damn, that must set the wrestling world ablaze. Put that in the headlines. Are you shocked that this didn't get any traction on ESPN or Sports Illustrated or TMZ? Nobody cared. Rollins walks away with the... You were better off having Punk just walk away with it, and there's your viral moment. That's what's going to get all the headlines. Nobody cares. We respect Seth. We really do. We wish it was different. This version of Seth Rollins doesn't do it for most of us. It doesn't. The music plays, he comes down, the live crowd does a little sing-along, and I get no feeling at all. When Hulk Hogan came out, I have a feeling. When Stone Cold came out, when Roman Reigns comes out, I have a feeling. John Cena, even Cody Rhodes a little bit. Rollins, I get nothing. I have to mute the TV for the damn sing-along. And that's what you left your live crowd with on Saturday night. So now we go into Sunday. Now, good news, bad news, right? What do you want first? You want the good news first? Let's do that. I'll get to that. Good news first. Well, first of all, actually, I'm going to shock everybody. You ready for this? And this is going to be a hot take maybe, but I'm going to go over this event. This is a full amplified review of Night 2, SummerSlam Sunday. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to go over just how true my words are, man. Even if it doesn't feel like it, when we go over this, you're going to see how night 2, you ready for this? I'm going to say it. Night 2, SummerSlam Sunday, was better than night 1. I knew that within the first 2 matches. I was live. I did a live stream for the opening match, Io, Naomi, and Rhea. You guys were so amplified in that live stream, I actually stayed an extra match for that ladder match championship. Wyatts championship match, ladder match, TLC, I think it was, right? Yeah, it was wild. And we were live for that. So thank you guys. You guys made that so special. Nando Mondo, special shout out, man. A $100 banger bomb in the supers. So, I mean, that was just an amplified live stream. So I'm glad I stayed the extra match as well. Shout out Nando Mondo. I appreciate the support, man, and all the coffees. Always appreciated, never needed. But you guys rock that out. And I told you guys in that live stream, I said, this is already better than night 1. All they have to do is now not fumble the ball, right? Now, if you are the quarterback in the back, Helmsley, don't throw the interception. Don't botch anything. Just go with the flow, and you're already off to a good start. The winners in the first 2 matches are the winners that should have been. So that's always a good call. That second match, that tag team title match, was absolutely wild. And with what was to come, I ended that live stream and I said, guys, it's looking good. I hope they don't screw it up. And I got to be honest, man, they didn't do anything off the wall that would have fumbled the ball. And if they did fumble a little, the same team picked it up at least. They didn't cause a turnover. So yeah, if that's a hot take, then I guess light that ablaze. If that's a hot take, put more heat on it. Add more fuel to it, because I'm absolutely saying night 2 was better than night 1, and we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about exactly why. I mean, night 1 brought you nothing. Night 2, there was shit to talk about. That's the good news. The good news, what we're going to go over was better than night 1. But night 1, the bar was so low. I mean, what does that really mean? We'll find out. Here's the bad news. Another swig of coffee before I deliver the bad news. Hold on. So the bad news is there's a lot of people that are not going to be happy with that main event, even though they gave it their everything. Cena looked right at Cody when it was all said and done. Said, that's everything I have, man. That's everything. Ain't going to be a rematch. I gave you everything. And they really did. Whether you liked it or not, eye of the beholder, that's your prerogative. I totally get it. But they emptied out everything. We're going to go over the false finishes, the finisher spam, all of that. That was so obnoxiously done. I am not happy with that at all. I'm not happy that they called this a street fight and there was no street involved. We're going to get into all of that. But what fans are most unhappy with, several things. Everything, actually. All the participants, anyway. Cody not turning heel is what has people pissed off. John Cena not swerving everybody, and he was supposed to stay heel. So if that's not going to happen, then Cody has to turn heel. That's the mindset of a lot of these fans. And they have to be under the age of 12. They would have to be, because nobody who's using logic and common sense would think that Cody Rhodes would have to turn heel, nor should he. That is the dumbest thing that I have ever heard. Okay, maybe I've heard dumber, especially in the wrestling community, but it is one of the dumbest things that you could say right now with the direction and the spot that Cody Rhodes is currently in and headed. Cody Rhodes is on top of the babyface world. It's not, even if you don't like it or you find him boring or annoying or obnoxious, that's cool. That's your prerogative. But it's nowhere near Jason Yeaterman and the whole yeeting. It's nowhere near Seth Singalong. Cody Rhodes comes out and most of us will say, at the worst, he's tolerable. And the kids and the families love this dude, and he's not just a catchphrase. He's not just a whoa. Cody Rhodes checks off every box, man. He can wrestle, always a plus. He's got the look, clearly. The gimmick, marketable. Top 3 merch seller in the past 2 years, consistently. You're turning him heel for what? What are you turning Cody heel for? It's so dumb. And that's what everybody was talking about going into this event. Oh, it's the double turn. Everybody's got to watch out for the Austin Brett. And then we start just talking weird shit. There's going to be an Austin Brett tonight. Who's double turning? First of all, Cena already magically turned face on Friday Night SmackDown out of nowhere. In one promo, he just turns face again just so he could be cheered at SummerSlam and they could do the mutual respect. Make no mistake, that's what this was about. They wanted to have mutual respect ending SummerSlam. And that's so they're like, how do we get there? Well, he can't just turn face at the end of the match, can he? So let's go out the night before, 2 nights before SmackDown, and just tell everyone you've had a change of heart. All of this degrading the crowd and ripping the crowd apart and all of these things you've been saying about Cody and everybody else, and then all of a sudden you're just like, sorry. In one promo, all of this heel turn, all of this gone. Long-term booking and storytelling, basically. Or I was told, BC, man, but come on, man, you're smart. You're one of the smartest guys I know in the pro wrestling business. How can you not see this is Cena playing him? At SummerSlam, you're going to see him go full throttle heel. Are we? How'd that turn out? Or was BC correct? Like I usually am. No, that wasn't a little swerve of any sort. That was them literally turning John Cena back face and hoping that you don't ask questions. And because so many fans have their bar so low or are willing to blow so much smoke up Helmsley's ass, nobody is going to question it. Not here on this channel. You damn right we going to question it. We going to talk about it. Because it's BS. Just turns face out of nowhere. So you can have mutual respect at the end of this match. It's absolutely it's stupid. But there's fans that they think they love pro wrestling and maybe they love what BC's doing and they're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna try to sound smart about it. And they start using cute little terms like double heel turn, and they start referencing old things, and they're like, it's gonna happen tonight. It's gonna be a Bret Austin situation, and they start to try to educate like they know everything about pro wrestling. And the one part of it all is that they don't. They love pro wrestling, and that's awesome, but they're not smart at it, right? They don't know what they're talking about. So you see, and you hear a lot of things like Cody needs to turn heel, or Cody's gonna turn heel, or John Cena's swerving everybody, or you're gonna get a double turn. And then when it doesn't happen, and nor should it, because all of that is stupid, you're not gonna flip up. John Cena is telling Cody Rhodes that he's a face again for what? What would that accomplish? It's a street fight. You wouldn't have to tell Cody you're a face. You're going to be using chairs and ladders and mounty stun guns, and you're going to fucking throw him off the bridge for all anybody cares. It's a street fight. So why are you telling Cody that he's your buddies now? It wouldn't even make sense, and fans don't think about that anymore. They just want to use cute little terminology, and they want to sound smart, and they want to think it's all swerves, and then they just say things like, Cody's got to turn heel. No, he doesn't. The last thing Cody needs to do is turn heel. Even if you find him boring, that's fine. The last thing Cody needs to do is turn heel. There's not a reason. There's nowhere you would go with that. Cody wouldn't even be a good heel. It would be Chris Jericho's worst run. Remember when he was just coming out in the suit and tie, his short hair, and he would just talk like this. It was when he was going through the best in the world gimmick. And he would just, and it was so boring and so bad. It would be Miz. It would be Miz, suit and tie, and because he comes out all dapper, right? That's what Cody always does. I could just picture the promos and everything. It would be horrendous. And for what? Who are you going to have? Is he going to take on your top babyface, Roman Reigns? Is that what you're going to try to do? CM Punk and Cody's the heel? It's stupid, but nobody wants to think about it anymore. They just want to turn everybody because it's for the pop, it's for the moment. Nobody's thinking long term, not even Helmsley, clearly. So you just saw Cena turn heel just a few months ago in February, right? What is it now? Just turned August, all right. Earlier this year, Cena, The top babyface of babyfaces turns heel. And that's not good enough. Months later, people are like, Cody's turning heel next, guys. Be on the lookout. Cody's turning heel. What the fuck are you talking about? When Hogan turned heel and joined the NWO, they weren't, hey, in 3 weeks, Sting's now going to turn heel. But that's why fans are pissed off, because they got swerved. They realized, Cena actually turned face on Friday. There was no swerve. They just gave us some complete BS stew, and we consumed it. We just took it like nothing. We asked for seconds. And then they got double pissed because they realized Cody's not turning heel, because he shouldn't turn heel, because that's a stupid idea. So can we please finally drop that stupidity? Can we stop talking about Cody turning heel? It is stupid for business. It's stupid for the fans. It's stupid in concept. Done. But that's not the only reason that everyone was, or a lot of people anyway, pissed off at the main event. At the end of this thing, and we'll go over the match, the winner of it, all of it. I haven't even got to the review yet. This is your cold open monologue. All right? I got a lot to say, man. I've already had a lot of coffee. People are pissed off because of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes back. Absolutely. Is it stupid? No question. Is there any point to this? Of course not, right? Other than what we are hearing, and this could be, and this is a smart way to intertwine stories, but The Rock has brought in Brock Lesnar because of Friday night and John Cena throwing everyone under the bus, saying that they've all left me. So I've seen the light, and I'm turning my back on them now, and I'm going to be the old John Cena. Rock got pissed off. He's buddies with Brock Lesnar IRL. So he sent Brock Lesnar to do some of that dirty work. If you wanted to end the year off with a tag match, because Cena doesn't have that much left in the tank anyway. He's only got limited dates. If they wanted to do Cody Rhodes and John Cena, the ultimate babyface tag team, versus Brock Lesnar and The Rock for a mega tag team match, then I can see how those reports would be accurate. I could see how they could intertwine it. Did Rock bring in Brock Lesnar to do his dirty work? Because you have to have some type of substance underlining. This just can't be, this is Brock just not liking John Cena. Because we did this, what was it, back in 2012? I think it was in Boston. It was a Monday Night Raw. And Cena was out there. Maybe it was after WrestleMania. And it was a Monday Night Raw after Mania, I believe. And Brock Lesnar's music hit. He comes out. Everybody's like, holy sh... Lesnar gets in the ring. F5. Show goes off the air. And that started a couple of matches, even one at Extreme Rules, I think, where they just beat the how you doing out of one another. But you're just recycling that in 2025. So you have to have more than just Lesnar doesn't like Cena, right? Because then he would just go for Cody's championship at that point. Go for the title. No, unless he was sent there by The Rock. That makes sense. That could be interesting. If you're going to do a tag match, that's one that, a random tag match, that's one that absolutely I would be up for. Cody and Cena versus Brock and Rock. So that would be the only reason that Brock would. There has to be meaning and substance, and we'll find out tonight a little bit more. We'll find out tonight if that Rock story is even true. Could The Rock show up on the Raw after SummerSlam? You don't know. Do we need The Rock? No, we understand. Trust me, the company is calling The Rock, not the other way around, for everybody that blames The Rock. And I understand The Rock needs to just stay away, and every time he comes back, he just leaves anyway. I get it. But now you have other people randomly showing up like Brock Lesnar, and unless there's a reason to this, and if The Rock is going to lace up the boots for a tag match, that's a tag match I'm okay with for sure. And it ties in why Brock Lesnar even came out last night at the end of this event. Other than shock factor, right? Let's have a moment. Let's get people talking. So no matter how the event was, you can at least say, did you see the big return? But the people are pissed off. A lot of people pissed off because it is Brock, and he was tied in with the Vince McMahon story. What you're not understanding, guys, everybody can't just be canceled because their name comes up in something. It's not that simple. There's legalities, and they've done their research. They looked into everything, and Brock is clear. There's no other way to say it. The only thing we even heard is there was text. He never met with anybody that Vince had. Paralegals, assistants. There was no meetups. Nothing. They talked. Maybe you talk about meeting up. That's it. That's it. He is clear. Guys, that doesn't put you behind bars. It just doesn't. You can cancel them all you want. Don't think WWE has to. The days of the culture of canceling is done. You can boo. You cannot like Hulk Hogan for a multitude of reasons. Guess what? The days of canceling Hulkamania is done, and he's going to be celebrated. You cannot like Brock. You cannot like the fact that he even was talking to some of Vince's side chicks. That's fine. But WWE doesn't have to cancel him. We don't live in that world anymore. How cool is that? People can apologize. We can forgive or not. Doesn't matter. They're still going to collect paychecks and they're still going to be on your TV. They don't even have to apologize anymore. It's the world back again. We finally got our world back. Screw canceling and that whole culture. It's done. It doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore because we don't care anymore. We're back to the world of we'll give you something to cry about. We're back in the world of if they gonna hate, let's give them something to hate. There's no apologizing. Let's lay it on even thicker. Let's give them something more to cry about. So you don't have to like Brock Lesnar back for personal reasons that you have, or you don't want to forgive, or you don't like what you've heard. Tough shit. He's a pro wrestler on a wrestling show. Everybody looked into any situation and said, Brock's good. And guess what? If you're crying over Brock being back, you're going to cry extra hard because Vincent Kennedy is already back. Vince has already got a company. Vince is already slowly, the message he sent out with Hulk Hogan. He's already speaking out publicly, and it's coming back to regular life for Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And it's only a matter of time before he buys TNA, and it's just one brand or branch under his big company that he now owns. TNA will be under that, trust me. When it's all said and done. And Saudi will end up owning WWE, by the way, and Vince will probably have a hand in that. Because the culture has changed. And mistakes or bad choices, all of that, that's not going to cancel people out anymore. That doesn't mean that's the last you've seen of them. It's the way it is. You don't have to like it. I totally hear you. It's your prerogative. Much respect. But don't think that WWE now has to ban everybody. The person can never be seen or heard from again. Expecto Patronum. They're gone. Doesn't work that way anymore. Nope. Now you can now stand up for your morals and everything and stop watching the product. No question, right? Let's see how really into these matters you are. Now you have to stop watching then. I mean, wouldn't that be that's what you would have to do? I hate the term boycott, but whatever you got to do, if you're really into those morals, man. But most of you guys are still going to watch WWE, man. You're still going to be watching tonight. You're going to be following along. So, I mean, if you're not that into your own morals and stuff, what is WWE supposed to do? It's Brock Lesnar, bro. He was always coming back. He's collecting a paycheck because he's under a very unique contract. So they're paying him anyway. You got to use them. So fans are upset that John Cena's whole thing wasn't a swerve and that he actually did, foolishly, awkwardly, bizarrely, turn face in one promo on Friday, and everybody got duped thinking there was more to it. Fans are pissed off that Cody didn't turn heel because they came up with some illusion in their dome piece that Cody was turning heel. Weird. And then people are pissed off because Brock Lesnar came back because he had text messages with a side chick. Meanwhile, listen, I'm not happy it was not a street fight at all. I'm not happy with all the false finishes. I'm not. They put everything out there. Cody's got the title back. It's odd that all of this was just to get the title right back to Cody Rhodes. Cena's once again a face. All of this was like for nothing. It just feels like Hunter Hearst Helmsley's booking is just so bad that when it's all said and done, nothing even got accomplished. You could have missed the whole year, started tuning in right now, and you would have missed nothing. Cena's the face. Cody's a face with a championship, the world title. And the holidays are coming up. That's the truth, and BC is dropping those facts, man. I always sit back, max and relax while BC drops the facts, and those are the facts. You missed nothing this year. Nothing. Should we get into the review? I had a lot to that was that was basically the BC. You did not talk about any of the matches yet. It's coming. It's gonna be a little bit longer, maybe. I'll try to run through these, man. I got a lot to say. Now I made a bold statement. I said night 2 was better than night 1. Now I gotta back that up. Well, I did my due diligence, man. I was keenly watching this show, dissecting every moment of it. My notes, I went over them. Come on, man. This is the most legit review you gonna get, and you know this. So let's do it. We started. Again, I was live for the first 2 matches, so I'll keep these a little bit shorter because I know a lot of you guys already know my thoughts on them. But you had the first matchup was Naomi, Io, and Rhea for the Women's Championship triple threat. And Naomi retained her championship, a roll-up to Ripley with some tights. It was the only decision that could have been made, guys, and you know this. Naomi has only had the title for 3 weeks at that point. 3 weeks. Now, as I said in the live stream, timing isn't the first factor. And what I mean by that is CM Punk held the title for 5 minutes on Saturday night. Roman Reigns held his title for nearly 4 years. Timing in itself isn't the only factor. But you can't take somebody like Naomi, who's finally hitting that stride. One of the best heel characters, not just women, that we have today in WWE. Her promos have even significantly improved with this character. She is on cloud 9. She just got the title by a cash-in. She had the briefcase, so that's a big moment to get that championship because they involved the whole briefcase deal. All of this into consideration, knowing she's only had it for 3 weeks, and you take the title already? You cannot do that. We use the term doing someone dirty or even filthy. That would be a whole new realm of wording. It was the right call. Do I hate roll-ups? Would I have thought of something different? Absolutely. I know what they were going for. They wanted to show you that with these 2 baby faces, Naomi had to, at the last second, kind of squeak out a victory. Out of nowhere. Kind of a cheap victory. I understand what they were going for. The fact that we see too many roll-ups makes this a lot less prestigious. It makes it a lot it just lacks some oomph. You know, this is the finality of the match, and Naomi just wins quickly with a roll-up. I understand what they were going for. I don't like it. I would have done it differently. At least they did do the heel tights, right? She had the tights. I don't know how, because they're so tight on Rhea Ripley. Somehow she must have got a thumb in there and held, I don't know. I didn't see it. But that's what they were saying. That's what Ripley was claiming. But that's the only decision that could have been made. So anybody not happy with that, that's tough. I mean, there's no way even Io could. You can make the argument Io shouldn't have dropped her title yet. That's fine. But she did. So now you can't do 2 people dirty, man. 2 wrongs don't make a right. And then it was kind of the same situation for the next matchup, which I was also live for, and that was the multi-tag team schmaz match. Tables, ladders, and chairs for the tag titles that the Wyatts currently possess. This was Wyatts defeating DIY, Motor City, Fraxium, Andrade, and Phoenix. And I said Profits, correct? Profits, DIY, Motor City, Fraxium, Andrade, and Phoenix. Yes, and the Wyatts would be the 6th team. And again, the Wyatts kept the titles. I'll say the same thing I said for match 1 with Naomi. This was the only decision that could have been made because the Wyatts have also only had the titles for about 3 weeks. Again, the time of possession isn't the only factor, but it is big. It has to be into consideration, and the Wyatts need to be booked badass. They have to. Their character yearns for it, and they've been botched from day one. So now you want to take the titles after 3 weeks? A lot of these teams could easily be tag title holders for a lengthy amount of time with some good booking, no question. If there was any other team to walk away with them last night, I would say Profits. They've been done filthy many times. But the decision was made to put them on the Wyatts. So now you got to roll with it. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So after two first matchups, Naomi, Wyatts, those were the right decisions. Match number 1 was okay. I think a lot of us had a little bit more expectations. It would be a little better, maybe a little bit of what we saw at Mania and that triple threat. This one didn't deliver to that maybe expectation, but it was still decent to even good. But that tag team match, even though it was a schmaz, man, that was a wild ladder match. Tables, ladders, and chairs. I mean, we saw a little bit of everything. Even the women, man. Candy LeRae taking a dive for the ages. I know her knee was all messed up. She was being looked at medical for a while. But everybody looked like there was a chance they ain't getting up from that. Everybody taking wild spots, putting everything on the line in that matchup. So after the first 2 matches, and I said goodbye on the live stream and said, check you, wait for the review. I left my audience on that live stream saying this is already better than night 1. I mean, as long as Hunter Hearst Helmsley doesn't fumble the ball, as long as there's not some really bad decisions upcoming in the rest of the 4 matches, hold on to this, and this is at least better than night 1. And then the live stream went off the air, and BC continued to watch for the purpose of this full review. And up next was a IC title match between champion Becky Lynch and challenger Lyra Valkyria. I'm about to say something that is going to be such a hot take. There is going to be, I can already hear it. BC, no, man, because people don't even like Becky Lynch. And this is like the 86th time we've seen this match. So I know this is going to be a controversial statement, but I'm telling you what I watched over the course of 2 nights and 12 matches. Probably and I'm taking under consideration the Schmaz Wyatt match and how crazy that was, and the good wrestling match that Gunther and Punk had, and a few others. Becky Lynch and Lyra, I'm about to say, you know what I'm about to say. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria was probably the funnest match for BC of the weekend. I don't know if I dare say best. I would have to do a little bit more thinking. There was 12 matchups. None of them really stuck out to another whole level and degree that I've never seen before. But one of these ladies didn't just pull out all the stops. Man, this was more of a street fight than Cena and Cody. I mean, I'm going to go over a lot of details in this match. And guys, this took up 3/4 of a page, no question. 3/4 of a page. That doesn't always happen in my notes. There's not enough to talk about usually. But I wanted to speak on so many of these spots. Let me just get into it. And I'll tell you why I feel this was one of the funnest matches of the weekend. And I know it's going to be panned, because it's Becky Hogan, they call her. Because it's a match we've seen 86 times in a feud of 4 months that really didn't have the story that it should have had. I get it. But check this out. First and foremost, again, IC title on the line. Becky was phenomenal in this no DQ match. No DQ, no count out, I believe, was a stipulation. I believe. Every match, almost every match had a stipulation. But you can call her Becky Hogan. You cannot like her. You can think she sucks. That's fine. That's your prerogative. She was phenomenal in this match. She is hitting Lyra with toolboxes. Like the actual toolbox. And laying into her too. Swinging and connecting with an actual wrench. A giant wrench. And you're thinking, Lyra's going to do something, right? She's going to kick it out of her hand. There's no way they're going to let Becky Lynch use this massive wrench. No, she takes it and she swings, man. I think there was a good reference by Michael Cole when he said she's swinging like Juan Soto, although Aaron Judge has many more home runs and is much better. So maybe he should have said swinging like Aaron Judge. But she was taking that wrench and she was rocking out. She then zip ties Lyra's hands and hangs her up on the ring post. on the outside and just starts taking batting practice with a kendo stick to Val. Lyra was ultra impressive as well, wrestling most of this match with her hands tied in those zips. Amazing with her feet, even a moonsault from the top rope with zero... there was zero arm momentum, man. Think about that. You're up on the top turnbuckle about to deliver a moonsault, but you have there's no momentum for rotation. I mean, it may seem like it's easy, and these are professionals, BC. She probably can do that, eyes closed, 100 times in her sleep. But just you think about doing that, though. You're on the top turnbuckle. You're about to do a moonsault, and you have your arms are in front of you. I mean, this is solely just your legs, your torso, and do your thing. It's all legs. No arm momentum for rotation. I just had to spend a second on that. That was just so beautiful to watch. It's kind of like, whoa. Amazing with her feet, like I said, while being zip-tied. She was just nailing this performance, man. Lyra uses a fire extinguisher to buy her some time. And then she actually uses the handle of the extinguisher to rip away at the zip ties, try to get untied. Once she was freed from the ties, Lyra hits a Nightwing from the steel steps to the outside mat. Lyra would later kick out of a pin following a manhandle slam through 2 steel chairs. Becky then traps Lyra inside of a steel chair. That's right. I'm going to say that again. Becky trapped Lyra now inside of a chair. So the chair went through her, right? So the body is like intertwined through the chair. Becky then takes the feet of the chair like you're in a lawnmower position, and she just starts lawnmowering Lyra into the commentary table via the chair. Absolutely, I'm like, who thinks of this? Lawnmowering her into the commentary table. Becky is about to end Lyra with a crowbar now. This is what I mean. You didn't even see this with Cena Cody. That was called a street fight. A crowbar is about to end it. But Bayley, that's right, Bayley out of nowhere takes the crowbar out of Becky's hands. So now Becky's like, you have beef. You hit her then. Gives the crowbar. You hit her with the crowbar. Becky is demanding that Bayley take the swing on Lyra. But Bayley attacks Becky instead. Becky is able to fend off Bayley, but Lyra flies off the top turnbuckle, hits a leg drop onto Becky through a Slim Jim table on the outside. Then we cut to the finish. Bayley goes to strike Lynch with a steel chain, but Becky ducks, and Bayley ends up decking Lyra upside the dome piece. Manhandle slam follows, and Becky pins Lyra. And still, IC champion Becky Lynch. Woo! You need a cig after that. This was fun. These ladies crushed it. They crushed it. I don't know what more they could have done. It's called no DQ, no countout. And they utilized everything in ways I've never seen before. And if you think I'm going to pan this or rip it apart in this review because I'm supposed to be going, oh, Becky Hogan. Oh, Becky sucks. When I look at these 2 nights, SummerSlam Saturday, SummerSlam Sunday, this match pops off. Many of them do not. So yeah, they crushed it. Salute over to Becky Lynch and Lyra. That is as honest of a review as I can give you. I mean, and this isn't everything. There's no way I could go over every moment of this match. This is just some of the wildness in this, and it was not cheesy. They didn't half-ass it or it looked cringe. They were laying into it. That's what I mean about Becky's performance, because a lot of that was her offense. But Lyra, man, 2 to tango, and Lyra was rocking out with everything Becky was dishing. Wrestling half this match with just her legs. Good stuff, man. Absolutely good stuff. Congrats to it. When everyone else is going to pan this, we're going to be, as we always are on this channel, honest. Becky and Lyra, they rocked out. The cool thing to say, right? The cool thing is, oh, man, that match sucked, man. What a sucky match. No, it didn't. Are you going to say the steel cage match was better than this? In what way? I think that's coming up, right? Swig of coffee, we'll talk about it. So, yeah, the next matchup was indeed the United States Championship match. For the men, Solo Sikoa defeating Jacoby Fatu in a steel cage match to retain his U.S. title. It took an MFT army and some handcuffs, but Solo Sikoa escaped through the door. There was a cool moment where they actually did cuff Jacob Fatu on the other side of the cage. He rips the cuff square off. Badass moment. And it wouldn't be the only one for Fatu, by the way. Post-match, Medium Jim Uso would help Fatu fend off Solo and his crew. Fatu would then hit a moonsault from the top of the cage onto Mateo and Tama Tonga. Everything was done correctly here. Solo retains his title, which needs to happen if you're going to make, or at least try to make Solo anything relevant and make people care about him at all, heel, face, or just seeing him in the ring. If you're going to do anything with Solo, taking the title from him right now does nothing, serves no purpose. It's a detriment to the highest level. So Solo retains, but Fatu loses zero momentum. None. He had the moment of the match. It was post-match. Well, in the match, he rips the cuffs off. But post-match is what you're really going to remember. That's going to be on his highlight reel. That moonsault from way on top of the cage. He loses no momentum from this. He ripped cuffs square off by just pulling his hand away. That's how strong he is. He's athletic to the highest levels. Moonsault from the top. This dude was standing tall. They fended off the heels. Solo was able to escape through a door. Literally, he won the match by running away, basically. Everything was done correctly. Is it over the top? Is it one of the most memorable things we've ever seen? Is it something you're going to be talking about throughout the week or even the rest of today? Maybe not. But for what it was, I have no problem with this. It was a as advertised cage match. Right person won, I feel. Fatu looks strong in defeat. Many things are wrong in pro wrestling with every company. WWE's got a billion problems, and this is not one of them. AJ Styles and Dom Mysterio was next for Dominik Mysterio's championship. Styles comes out in a lowrider IC championship, right? Yeah, US IC. Intercontinental title. There's so many titles. I'm like, what is Dominik's title? Styles comes out in a lowrider. It was being pushed out. It was hilarious. You guys got to see this. So Styles is making pretend he's driving it, but he's steering at least. Sort of. They were even pushing him in the right direction. It was funny. This thing was not running. They were just pushing it. They were pushing it. And then he starts bouncing a little bit, and I guess it's a nod to Eddie Guerrero. And then we see that AJ Styles is wearing some gear print that Eddie wore in the Dominik custody match many years ago. I can't validate that, but I'm going to take Cole's word for it. I mean, I'm not that into what wrestlers were wearing during matches, but pretty cool nod, I guess. There was a good spot in this match. There was so many nods to Eddie. I guess the whole underlining thing here was Eddie Guerrero. There was a spot here where the ref's back is turned and Dirty throws a chair into the hands of Styles, and then he just falls as if Styles hit him with the chair, maybe like a quick DQ when the ref turns around. But Styles thinks fast, and he puts the chair around his head and his neck as if Dominik hit him so hard it went over his head. And then Styles falls with the chair still on him. So when the ref turns around, he's like, what? So then Dominik and AJ are like, you hit me. No, you hit me. It was kind of funny. If there was ever going to be a nod to Eddie Guerrero, that was the way to do it. Definitely old school Eddie. But Styles puts the chair around his neck and falls, man. Dominik was like, damn, you one-upped me. The finish sees Dirty deck Styles in the dome piece with his boot. So another Eddie nod. The boot of Eddie would always come off. He would use that to his advantage. So if you went to try to pull his leg, literally and figuratively, the boot would come off and Eddie would then roll you up or something. So Dominik unzipped the boot. Styles goes for it, comes right off. He ends up getting decked by it. Frog Splash, I believe, was next. 1, 2, 3. Styles is looking up at the lights, does not get this title. A lot of people are going to be pissed at that. I understand. They didn't get their way on this. They really wanted to see Styles win the title, but I am more than okay with the Dominik Mysterio holding that title, because without that title, Mysterio really has nothing going for him. They don't utilize him a lot on television. They don't put him in a lot of matches. The title is basically his shtick. And when he's backstage doing all those Judgment Day storylines, so whoever he drops it to, you better have something big planned. I would ask, what would they have for AJ Styles, guys? You know they have nothing. For years, they've had nothing. Hunter Hearst Helmsley has no idea what to do with somebody like Styles. So, okay, you put a title on him. Now what? You have nothing. Styles is now walking around with a title and still shitty booking. I'm okay with just leaving it on Dominik until you find a plan for everybody. And then Stephanie McMahon is out next, and she uses up the entire... So the event started. Night 2 started with Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the middle of the ring. Oh, are you ready? And then the middle of the show, or no, right before the main event, end of the show, Stephanie McMahon is now out there. And she uses up the entire pyro budget for the rest of the year, giving us some BS attendance numbers. She says over 60,000 were there last night. That is BS, by the way. They only had 40 some odd on Saturday. And there wasn't that much more there last night. And I was told that they didn't even hit 50K. And we all know there was thousands of seats early before the event. What was it? 3 hours before the event was the last check. And there were still thousands of seats left. We know that they brought the staging area and the ramping closer so they could block off more back seating because they knew they couldn't sell the house out. So knowing all of this, they're going to go out there and now claim over 60,000 when Saturday they announced 40 some odd. So then Stephanie says... She adds both nights together and she says that means that 113,000 people attended SummerSlam, which is wild BS. Because most of those fans attended both nights. Guys, there was packages, but most fans, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the tri-state, most fans attended both nights. It is asinine to think that 113,000 people showed up. But that's how they tried to make it seem. That means that combined 113,000 people attended SummerSlam. You can't just count people twice. This isn't an election. What are you doing? That was so stupid. They made it seem like 113,000 people showed up. Bro, over 30 of them, bare minimum, attended both nights. If you were watching, you saw a lot of the same people in the same rows because a lot of them are packages, so you actually get the same seat both nights. Good for them. Paid a lot of money, and I can't say that this SummerSlam was worth it. But... wow, I could not believe, but yes, I could. This is what they do. They inflate numbers and they try to make it seem like business is booming. You know what you didn't hear? Sell out. You know what you didn't see? A completely sold out stadium. If it seemed like the staging and everything was pushed more up, it was on purpose. They couldn't even come close. And then we go to the main event. Jonathan Cena, Cody Rhodes, street fight. I'll tell you right from the jump, there was no street involved. None. No street. No street. Why was it called a street fight? I have no idea. Lyra and Becky was more of a street fight. Cena took a combination of 21 crossroads and Cody cutters, and Cody took roughly 12 attitude adjustments. That cannot happen. Finisher spam is lazy, and this is what it's come to. Going forward, whoever loses from one or two of these finishers, they're going to look like absolute jabronis. Now, whoever loses to one attitude adjustment, or even two or three, or 1, 2, or 3 Crossroads, they're going to look like weaklings. Like they should be in LFG or at the developmental center down in Orlando for NXT. Because Cena was kicking out of 21 of these. Like a dozen eggs. Cody was kicking out of attitude adjustments like they were chops. Clotheslines. These are attitude. What? Finisher spam. It's ruined the business. I mean, it may make for like climactic moments in the moment, but think about the damage it is doing long term. Finishers mean nothing anymore. Back in the day when Jake Roberts would hit you with a DDT, that was it. If Undertaker hit you with the Tombstone Piledriver, that was it. If Batista hit you with the Batista Bomb. Once in a while, right, when it called for it, you'd have the kickouts. Even Hogan Warrior WrestleMania 6, right? I believe Hogan or Warrior kicked out of the leg drop, I believe, the first time around. And I think Hogan may have kicked out of the press slam of Warrior. But my point is that, okay, at times, even back in the day, they would kick out of a finisher. Blue moon, once in a blue moon. Now it's not even once in a blue moon, but even worse, it's a dozen times a match. Half of this whole match, which seemed like it went like 40 minutes bare minimum. I didn't have the straight up clock time on that, but it was a long time. But half of it was just kicking out of each other's finisher nonstop. It's got to stop. Cody then pins Cena to become new champion once again via one of his Crossroads. I think this was a Cody cutter from the top. Turnbuckle into a table, and then he set him up, I believe, for the crosser. I believe. And then Cena finally laid down for a 1, 2, 3. Cody wins, and because John Cena out of nowhere turned face on Friday, when he got up, you knew what was coming. Mutual respect. They hugged, they shook hands, they exchanged pleasantries. I think I even saw some Christmas cards exchanged. So they absolutely showed that mutual respect. In fact, Cody was respecting him so much he left the ring. I'm going to leave the ring for you, man. You have your farewell to SummerSlam. And then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's music hits. So people are like, oh, is The Rock coming out? No, Brock Lesnar came out. And Brock Lesnar, they just recycled what they did in, I believe it was 2012 after a WrestleMania. It was the Raw after Mania. Cena's in the ring, and Brock Lesnar comes up. Maybe that was the WrestleMania where Cena beat Rock. And then that Monday, Brock came out, probably pissed off at that because him and Rock are good buddies. But they recycled the same exact thing they did at Raw many years ago. Lesnar's music hits. He comes to the ring, says nothing. F5, show goes off the air. It was the same exact situation just 13 years later. If that was 2012, that seems like so long ago, but I think that was the year, no? Same exact thing, though. Now, again, there is reports, and this would make sense. Rock got pissed off of what Cena said on Friday, and Rock sent Brock. And because John Cena has to be very careful what he does going forward, I think now that he doesn't have the title, he could do these tag matches to help cut some of that workload. Well, this is the way to do it. The baby faces of all baby faces, Cody and John Cena, and they already set that up with that mutual respect as a team taking on Rock and Brock. So I do think there's validity to what we are hearing. I have to find out more. Perhaps we will tonight. But there is word that Rock sent Brock as a story. We'll find out. I just hope there is a story and substance to this, and it's not just for the cheap pop, just for a quick headline and quick shock value. Oh, we brought somebody back. Yeah, but we already saw this a dozen times in the past. So this is just to get some more ticket sales for Paris, Clash in Paris at the end of the month. I hope there's more to this, guys. And if The Rock is involved, even though I know you want him to stay away and nothing good happens when he comes back and he just leaves things hanging, I get it. But I'm more than okay with that as a tag match. That's actually wild. But is WWE actually thinking like that? Do they actually have a storyline in place? I think we're going to find out a lot more tonight. I believe Cena is on the show tonight, and you got to believe that Brock is popping out as well. So That's how the show went off the air. Brock Lesnar, that was the big headline. A lot of people pissed off because Brock's back. They don't like what he did outside the ring just because he's involved with the Vince shit. But all that I'm aware of, that they know of, is that there was texts. There was no meetups with these girls, with these Vince McMahon side chicks. So I don't know what everybody's... Okay, he made a mistake. Poor choices, bad decisions. Have you never made them? Just cancel everyone. Yeah, just no. Gone. Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore, man. I can't even tell you I'm loving Brock Lesnar back. Of course I'm not. I have to find out what this even leads to. But if you think we're just going to, or WWE more than anything is going to cancel him, there's nothing to cancel him for. What are you talking about? Over every little thing, you just can't say gone forever. You can't. Not anymore. Maybe a year ago you could do that. Maybe the last 4 years you could do that. Not anymore. Times are a-changing, thankfully. Now I just hope that WWE will actually insert some storyline to this. You better have a damn good reason why we're seeing Brock do the same thing he did more than a decade ago. SummerSlam Night 2 Sunday went off the air. It was a better show than one. The Becky and Lyra matchup, I didn't even mind the cage matchup. That tables, ladders, and chairs was absolutely wild. Watching Naomi have a successful title defense, that just felt so right. Cena and Cody was actually good. I wish there was a street involved, and I just wish they had a lot less of finisher spam. But man, did they empty the tanks. We did have a return. Brock, I just really hope it leads to something. I'll let it play out. Styles and Dominik had a little bit of fun in it. So, yeah, I don't know how memorable this SummerSlam is going to be, man. Is it really too big for one night? I don't think so. You only had 12 matches, man. You could have done this in 3.5 to 4 hours anyway. Cut maybe one match, have 11 matches. It's not like you had 7 or 8 matches on each night. It's not like we got some explosive storylines and moments and headlines. It's unfortunate. And again, there's a lot of decisions made that just have fans not too thrilled. And then a lot of expectations and thoughts that fans had that they shouldn't have even had. Like, Cody's going to turn heel, man. And then he didn't. They're like, oh, man, wasted opportunity. No, it's not. So, I don't know. This SummerSlam is all over the place. I think it's better than Mania, but that's not saying a lot. So we still have the same issue going into these big events or any event. Helmsley is showing you he doesn't care enough to put effort into this. He's too busy doing everything else. He's hanging out with presidents and hanging out on television shows like First Take. He's promoting his shows Unreal and such. Everything but concentrating on these shows. If this was Kennedy McMahon, he'd lock himself in his office for 25 hours out of a day, do the Steiner math. This guy doesn't want to be in the office for 3 minutes. And that is your amplified, candid, as ever, SummerSlam Night 2 Sunday review. Night 1's is up on the show. We did some live streams. The main event, Punk and Gunther from Night 1 was live stream. We did the opening of SummerSlam Sunday, a live stream. There's so much content. We kicked it all off with a badass review of SmackDown and Cena turning face out of nowhere. I was pretty amplified for that. So there's so much content up on the channel. Check it all out before Monday Night Raw tonight. The Raw review late tonight for my channel members, early tomorrow for all other subscribers. Until next time, and there will be that next time. 44 Dive, that's a wrap. Amplified unit. Check you. Salute.